Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today is an email episode, okay? Now, y'all, some of these emails today, I just can't believe it. Some of them are like, I know you fucking lying. You know what I'm saying? But it's too detailed for it to be made up. Okay, so y'all just bear with me. But before we get started, please make sure that you are following at Brandy, the Millennial Manager on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Remember that if you like to watch YouTube or have YouTube up in the background, you can do that now because all of the episodes are uploaded onto YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe. Also, I have an interview coming up on YouTube. I'm going to announce the creator's name when she does it. I just wanted to make sure y'all know. So when she announces it, then I'm going to make sure that I share it onto my platform as well. So before we get started, I hope that y'all are having a great day. And now on to the foolishness. Our first email of the day comes from Betty. It says, "Hello, I have a question. Let's see if I can answer it." All right, let's get going. I recently transferred to a different department, same title. I went from PRN to full-time status. I'm sure you know, as a PRN employee, you make an additional 20% on top of your base pay. When I spoke with the recruiter about pay for the full-time role, she advised it was a lateral move and my pay would stay the same. I immediately requested the offer letter to have something in black and white. The offer letter was sent. Apparently, HR noticed and rescinded the offer. This caused my pay to change significantly. Is this legal? I'm in the great state of Alabama. Unfortunately, yes, it is legal because it was an error, and you have the choice to move forward. They made you an offer. You did not have to accept that. Okay, so I'm sure they came back with an alternative saying this is actually the correct amount of money. Did you say yes? Or did you go back to your PRN status? Okay, because remember, they made an error. Unfortunately, there's nothing legally binding about a job offer because they can rescind it at any time. If there's anything that comes back from your background, if there is a change in status with the company, they can rescind a job offer just like that. So sadly, there is not anything that can protect you from that portion. But what I want to talk to you about, I'm really proud that you demanded an offer letter immediately to make sure you have something in black and white. The offer letter was sent. However, someone in HR caught it and made sure that you were aware that whatever the recruiter was saying was not correct. So unfortunately, there is nothing that you can do in this particular situation legally. But as far as you making a choice on whether or not you want to move forward, you absolutely have that right. I'm not sure what your status is now. If you accept it, you really haven't. You said that it caused your pay to drop significantly. So I would imagine that you did take that position. But baby, you have the choice to go back. You do not have to stay as a full-time employee. Now, how long you have been with this company, I'm not sure because you were working with them part-time. Well, not part-time, but PRN. And now you have obtained this full-time employment. So I would either seek other employment like outside of this organization or see what your options are as far as going back to a PRN status so that you can still retain that pay. So let me know because I want to know what the update is from this situation. This is a very sticky one when it comes to the legalities of it all because a lot of things are unethical, but they're not illegal. They're not illegal. And this is not illegal, unfortunately. So I really wish you the best in this situation. And on to our next email. I feel like I'm being retaliated against because I brought issues to my manager. And because of this, my coworker and I were having a discussion and she happened to come in late and heard what we were talking about, which are the issues, and I felt like she started to attack me and stated, if you don't like it here, you should leave. I'm in the process of looking for another job. I have already had 2 interviews, 3 more coming. Now, the question is, should I go to HR and report the incident? Because things have escalated with word exchange. Oh, Jesus. What should I do? Baby, if you go to HR right now, I'm telling you, they are going to start the process of termination. So if you want to hit them with the element of surprise, I would wait until you hear back from these other jobs, because if there was anything in violation that you and your coworker were discussing, so if they have a no gossip policy, no drama policy, whatever it is, right? If it's something that goes against the company policy, they have you on that because your manager heard that y'all were discussing certain things. So I would be very careful with that. At this point, if you decide to go to HR, that is something that, you have to be ready for the outcome. Anytime you take things to HR, you need to be ready. One way is leaving, and then also the other way is more targeting. This time it's a little more documented. They're going to be really paying a lot of attention to you. So you have to be very careful when you go and report things to HR. Do you understand? You need to be careful, because if you are not ready to move on in any direction, you will probably be forced to, and then you're going to have to deal with other things. So if you've already started the interview process, you're going to leave, I would just keep my interactions to a minimum with her and stop talking shit at work. If you're going to talk shit, do it outside of work. Do you hear me, ma'am? I don't want to hear this anymore. Y'all stop talking shit at work, because that is a very dangerous situation to put yourself in, especially if you already got a problem with your boss and now your boss hears you talking about them. It's just going to escalate even further. So if I were you, I would keep my mouth shut, because I'm getting ready to leave anyway. There's no need for me to go to HR unless it's something that is unbearable. Okay. If it's something that is physical, or it has began, like harassment has began. Maybe she's like coming up to your face and screaming at you and stuff like that, then I would take that to HR. But if not, no, don't say nothing. Hit them with the element of surprise. And you already have had 2 interviews, and you have 3 that have already wanted you to come in for an interview. So that's 5 opportunities for you to get the fuck out of there. Do you understand? But as of right now, shut your damn mouth. Do not say anything to anybody else about nothing that is happening. You need to shut your mouth, because it is unnecessary. Do you understand me? All right. Okay, let's go to our next email. Oh, this one is another retaliation. Please let me know. Oh, this one says, good morning. Please let me know if you have any resources on the type of attorney I would reach out to if I feel like I have been targeted with retaliation practices. Please add resources as well. Thank you so much. Baby, you need to find an employment attorney. You need an employment attorney. You also need someone, if it's racial, okay, if you feel like there's some racial discrimination there, and you are being targeted, and it has something to do with your race, it has something to do with your gender, ethnicity, whatever it is, okay, you need to contact an attorney that specializes in that. So a civil rights attorney would be someone that I would go to directly, and also an employment attorney to discuss whether or not you have a case with the retaliation. So if you are struggling with that, if you have a case where you feel like you're being retaliated against inside of the workplace, and it's something where you can press charges, not word of mouth, you need to have some documentation. On Monday, February 2nd, Beth said this. On Tuesday, February 3rd, Donovan did this. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that it's documented. So don't come in there. I feel like you need to have documented proof that shows a pattern of retaliation. So you had a conversation with this person one day, the next day they're writing you up. You had a conversation with this person, the next day they're doing this. Like, it needs to be documented. So that means that you're going to have to go back into that mental Rolodex of the things that have happened. If you've been texting about it, you need to go back to the text messages. Sometimes you need to text yourself, and that's also a good way for you to start documenting. If you don't want to have something that's so obvious, like a notebook, and you're writing down your thoughts, you need to start messaging yourself, because you can do that. Today, such and such said this. Such and such commented on my hair. Such and such commented on the way that I dress. They commented on my weight. They were making derogatory statements about my gender, about my sexuality. Whatever it is, you need to put it in your phone. Send yourself a message. Document who said it, what they had on, the time, who was around as a witness. Those are some things that you need before you go and talk to an attorney. You need to have some documented proof. There was a lady recently that was fired because she had been tardy so many times. But then after further investigation, they found that there were actually some racial discrimination, racially discriminating conversations that have happened inside of the workplace. And the only reason why they found that out is because she was documenting that. She was reporting it to management and to HR, and nothing happened. This person that was doing this was allowed to stay on with the company. Nobody addressed them. No one corrected them. And so they were able to continue to harass her. So when they fired her for those terminations, or for the tardies, it wasn't just based off of that. And they were able to prove it because she was documenting. So if you really want to go after them, you have to be ready that you're going to be met with the force, because you're going up against a corporation. So your attorney is going to tell you that very same thing. Okay. Also, make sure that you do not communicate this with anybody at your job. Do you understand? I don't give a fuck how good of a friend this person has been to you. When they are pressed and it is regarding you, and if they know anything about you, it is going to go into court record. Do you understand? So if you move forward with this, you need to make sure you keep it to yourself. Do not share with anybody what you are planning to do. And you need to talk to an attorney solely on your own. Do you understand? All right. On to our next email. This one says, "Hey, Miss Brandy. Hey, baby. We got a lot of emails from Betty today. Beanies, what y'all got going on?" It says, "I have a question. I am a vocational manager at a private company. They've changed my job description and core tasks several times in 6 months that I have been there." What? What the hell? Okay. This is the email I was talking about at the beginning, y'all. That kind of pissed me off. It's now shifting towards a call center environment rather than a case manager vocational counseling role. I requested a reasonable accommodation under the ADA, as some of these changes have been navigating the role have made navigating the role extremely difficult with my disability. I end up working 10 to 12-hour days to get the scope of work complete each day, which is 30 to 40 cases and 10 to 20 phone calls. For reference, I am a salaried employee. I found out from HR that my coworkers aren't completing scope of work each day. In order for me to step away for an hour or two for a medical appointment, I must complete the entire scope of work or take 4 to 8 hours of PTO per appointment. They denied my accommodation request to not take any incoming calls or to not take incoming calls in ready status while handling other tasks to manage tasks more efficiently. I am penalized for not answering incoming calls within 14 seconds. Should I complete what I can in 8 hours and leave like my peers, or should I start looking for a new job altogether? Honey, baby, this is a nightmare of a situation. And the reason why, this is kind of like that previous emails, like that bait and switch. They get you to accept the position, they get you to accept the pay, and then they flip it on you. And unfortunately, it is allowed. It's bullshit that they're able to do this. And they've probably done it so many times over that people don't even care anymore. But I will say that if you have the reasonable accommodation, they denied it, and now you are not being treated the same as your coworkers because you're required to stay and work 10 to 12 hours to get the scope of work. However, your coworkers are not. They are not staying and working those amount of hours. You have documentation that shows that your HR department knows that these employees are not completed or are not completing any scope of work each day. They're not there from 10 to 12 or 10 to 12 hours. You have documentation from that. You also have documentation that they're not willing to accommodate with the appointments where you can take 2 hours. So if I were you, I would speak to someone that specializes in ADA cases. When I say someone, I mean an attorney. Okay? Because at this point, you kind of have to play by the game because you've only been there for 6 months. However, you should start looking for a new place of employment, but there is some case here. There is some evidence here. As long as you have been documenting and making sure that you are keeping track of the things that they are verbally telling you, what they are sending you via email, because they're not treating you like everyone else. They're not treating people the same. Number one. They have denied the accommodation that you have requested. They're penalizing you for not answering any phone calls. If that is not happening outside of you to each one of your coworkers, if that is not the same across the board, like that is the company policy for everyone, then that seems like they are singling you out. Do you understand? And you need to talk to an attorney. Do you understand me? Okay? Do not wait another day. Either you are going to move on or you're going to talk to an attorney, and you actually can do more than one thing at a time. So you can look for a new job and also discuss with an attorney to see if you have a case. But please make sure that you have dotted your I's and crossed your T's before you talk to an attorney. Because just like I said in the previous email that we received, if you have not been documenting that there has been some type of discrimination, there has been some type of fall through with ADA accommodations, then you're not going to have a case. So you need to make sure that you are documenting. Being at the company for 6 months does not protect you for you going off or doing something different than what your coworkers are doing, I should say. So your coworkers, they're leaving at 8 hours, probably because they were told that they could. You have not been told that. So if you do that, if you do what they're doing, you're going to be insubordinate because your orders are different. So that's why you have to go a different route with this. You have to talk to an attorney. Seriously. Do not waste any more time. Okay? That is going to be all for today, guys. Make sure that you are listening to the Millennial Management episode or the Millennial Management podcast episodes on YouTube because they are fully available there. Also, make sure that you are following me at Brandy, the Millennial Manager on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now, if you want to email the podcast, you have a question that you want to send, you need to send it to THEE, Mill, MILL, management, all spelled out, pod, POD, @gmail.com. Okay? All right. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and I will see y'all on the internet. Bye-bye.